we have all sorts of information to share. It's just figuring out what it is they want.
Could you attend their PLCs? Building off of that, my question is, I'm getting feedback from parents that we had a wonderful Jefferson experience. Our kindergarten experience is different. And so if you've fully implemented track, which is taxi, which is coming in and you've trained your teachers on it, you have developed this cute little kit that I heard you say about, this is how I'm feeling today, this is how my agenda looks today. They get to kindergarten and we don't have any of that for that family anymore. They're going to miss that. So my question to you is, with track, how can that blend with PBIS, which is that positive social intervention for behavior that's going to be happening, that we're implementing, seeking grant funding for, and why can't they be the same thing? So when you...
Aren't they the same? Because we talked about PBIS.
Right. They do have lots of links to PBIS on the taxi website. I haven't spent a lot of time reading them as it's been more of an elementary. They refer to it more as an elementary type program. But I do know that it is, I certainly could do more research about how the two could tie together.
Well, but I just think it would be wonderful, and as Mike is talking about, let's pick one. Let's pick one, and if we're doing track, let's do track, and we can call it PBIS in elementary, but that blend from K through second grade, it's going to look like this, and you're going to have this briefcase agenda, and then in third grade you're going to get a paper with a spiral bound agenda book because you're ready for that, and then that would be all of the PBIS, or maybe you're ready for that in second grade. But for you to do all of these wonderful implementations, which I know you are doing, and then they go to a different building, same district, and it's a different flavor, and we know that we need to create engagement among family members and understanding the importance of school, the importance of attending meetings, the importance of being responsible for your child's homework, so we can again send homework home with children. I see we're creating a larger discrepancy rather than shrinking.
Let us know what we need to do.
Well, no, that's why I'm asking for suggestions, and that was just my piece.
What I'm hearing you say, and you added to it in numerous ways, is charging administration to figure out what the kindergarten teachers need, what ECFE needs and wants, and coming up with a game plan for our district, which includes both. And that's what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
So, what we're saying is...
I think the whole thing really depends on how it's all going to tie together.
Right.
I'll talk with Cheryl about that. But, these two ladies are great, but they're really focused on preschool.
Yeah.
Right, but...
They're focused on early childhood. They need to talk to the kindergarten teachers.
Right.
Well, I guess that's what we're saying, is that what we're hearing is there's not communication that's into a plan, and that we would like to see a plan put together regarding ECFE and kindergarten, Willmar Public Schools, and touch base with that. So I would say it'd be nice, you're not going to do it overnight, but within a couple months we should have somewhat of a report back on where we're at with that plan process. Just a bullet point.
And I don't think we're all that far away, because there's been a lot of groundwork done on this.
It's just decision making
and Jody's probably,
and documentation.
But just getting it
Jody's
done.
probably hitting it right. We've had a lot of turnover. I guess what I'm really strongly saying is this: put this thing back on the front burner. This is just as much part of our fixing or working with our school improvement plan as anything else. We want to make sure our early learners are coming in ready to go. And that our staff, we got a great staff over at Jefferson in our satellite buildings. They got to know what's expected, and it just makes sense.
Well, but it needs to continue into kindergarten and first grade. It needs, whatever those decisions are, it needs to continue.
Right.
Before I even received this agenda, within the past 7 days prior to this agenda being released publicly, or even to myself as a board member, I had 2 parents with very different stories come up to me and share with me about their EC experience and their kindergarten experience and just the questions that they had. And so I was pleased to see that this was on our agenda and that we could start that conversation. And we are looking at our strategic planning for our district, and early childhood did not come up on that plan. It talked about, parent engagement and things, but it really didn't talk about that connectivity between through 3. I think E was mentioned on there, but there
I was
wasn't
going to say,
any
if
direct
you recall, we
action.
did change the
Yes.
K-12 to an E-12.
E12.
We got your E in there, but if there's no actions related to an E, it's just there.
Well, and I think the district has started that. When funds are tight, it's very hard to take from existing programs and allocations. Now that some resources have been made available, the district has made a commitment. We had to build capacity, and I think in doing so, we've hired Ann in her position to get this framework in place. So now that we've got some frameworks, we can look at the capacity issues so that you can look at resources and maybe allocating resources a little differently than what you've done in the past. If indeed the studies are right and this is the right place to put resources, now that the legislature is possibly looking at allocating some resources, I think then you can do a target. So I think the timing is much better today than it was. If you take Mike's conversation 10 years ago, if you know it was taking place 10 years ago, we were cutting every year. It's really hard to create any new initiatives or to excite staff to do anything extra when they're living, day to day in essence.
Well, but I'd like to bring
know.
you back to how you have maximized your transition time with making that
Sure.
money. We have PLCs now. That is sustainable. That is something we've made a commitment to. That is something that we're going to have. So how do we utilize this in our best way to make sure that that bridge is happening, that communication is happening? It doesn't require extra resources. It requires well thought out agendas.
The other piece to that is the fact that K-12, everyone is full-time. Early childhood, we're not. Well, there's 3 of us that are full-time. All the teachers are not full-time. And so trying to come up with that time to do that, I see the value in that, and I see the importance in that. But to get the time to do that, we're going to have to cut back on the number of classes we offer. So trying to find that balance.
Yeah, the
It doesn't
professional
always have to be a
development that we
cut. It could be an increase in allocation, because now we have come up with some measurements to show why this is worth our while and how it can really help over the long term, and these are the trends that we expect to see. Let's pilot it and see, and not have that, because I know other districts are also having difficulties with saying, we have 2 different contracts.
Yes.
And we have, the amount of hours and things, and that's the world we work in, but we shouldn't automatically say, in order for us to do this, we have to cut.
Well, the concept is just getting a plan together that's actually a working plan, committing to it, and seeing what will or won't work. And with the PLCs and having, I think, more collaboration grade level wise within buildings and across district, it would be easier than it has been ever in the past to come up with a plan. When you have kindergarten or first grade, second grade, especially or early elementary, they're all on the same page. They know what every classroom is trying to accomplish. It seems like it'd be an easy thing to do from this side anyways. So, anything else? Otherwise, that's what we're kind of charging you to do, is
This is a
come up with a
presentation
plan.
on Word book, so it's all available for the community on the website. So if you can shoot that over to Dr. Kierberg, please.
Send it to Jamie.
Okay.
Any other questions? Otherwise, Jody and Ann, Steve, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.